Everyone, I'm Jodylynn and welcome to Aging Naturally, where we talk about non-invasive, better aging solutions for the mature skin. And I'm super excited today to share with you my 4-month results using the Oralift. This has been a game changer in my routine. And I have actually Dr. Mohindra here today as well for an interview. So he is the creator of the Oralift, and he's going to answer some questions, and I will link timestamps also down in the description box below if there's certain things that you want to just get right into and want to know more information about. But I am super excited to share this with you. So let's get started. All right. Hello, Dr. Mohindra. And thank you so much for being with me this Sunday. I am super excited to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came about creating this wonderful device?
Hi, Jodylynn. Pleasure to be here. The Oralift appliance, or the work, started quite earlier on in my career as a dentist. It was in the 1980s that I first became interested in treating the TMD joint. And this was one of the appliances that we used to use. As we progressed on, I started to develop a theory about lower facial height, which led me on to the dental facelift procedure. And then I realized just wearing this appliance alone was having such a profound effect that why go to that invasive method of crowning everything or treating all the teeth when you could get very good results by just using the device. And that's when, I think it was about 2000, I developed this Oralift appliance, which could be used by anyone. And initially I thought this was a dentist device, you know, and I used to train dentists to use it. But dentists are more used to looking in the mouth and treating teeth and things like that, you know. So I found it wasn't being accepted. And especially since I was a general practitioner and not an academic, it was even more difficult for me to get this accepted by the profession. So I wrote papers about the work that I've been doing. And my aim always has been that to make anything popular, it's got to be on a scientific basis, you know, and for scientific basis, it's important to get papers written. So eventually I even wrote a paper about the Oralift, and I had a lot of difficulty getting it published, but it was published in recently 2018, about 4 years ago. When I saw that the dental profession wasn't taking it forward, then I said to myself, the best way is go direct to the public. And that's what I did about 2 years ago. I said, right, I'm going to now launch it as a DIY product and give support to the people. And that's how it came about that we are here now.
Yes, and here we are. So this device has been wonderful for me. I love this. This is always going to be in my skincare routine. I'm just loving this. So, okay, let's see what else I've got for you.
Well,
Tell me,
one
go
of the
ahead.
things I want to say, Jodylynn, is this device is new. A word has spread around that this is really, because I started off with the TMJ field, and that was my interest, that this is really for people who clench and grind their teeth. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting that you didn't do that. Mm-hmm. And also, the other fact was people are worried that if they have a face that is slightly long, that this will make the face even longer. Mm-hmm. And the adaptive process of the is such a wonderful process that the results you get, I'll talk about this later on, is wonderful no matter whether you've got a square face, a long face, a round face, this will work for you.
Yes, and I can't wait to look at the results, and we'll talk about that. I'm so excited about my results. I'm blown away about my results. So can you tell me a little bit about how Oralift works and the Freeway space?
When the Oralift is worn in the mouth, the two blocks at the side activate proprioceptors in our muscles, in the masseters, which allow the adaptive process of the human being to come into play. What do I mean by that? The jaw has to rest in a new resting position when those blocks are in the mouth. For the jaw to rest in a new position, the brain has to adapt to this new position of the jaw. And this process of adaptation is triggered off, which means all the head and neck muscles have to adapt. Not only the muscles, but the process of adaptation means that every cell in the body has to work to its best ability to be able to cope with this change. And that's what's being triggered off by Oralift.
It's so cool. How does the freeway space, why is that important? Is that kind of what you're talking about? Is like that
Yes.
kind of ignites everything else to happen?
Yes. The freeway space is the space between our top teeth and our bottom teeth when our lips together. The teeth are usually not in contact, but there's a little space in between the teeth. Now that space is dictated by the tension in our muscles. So if you have very tense muscles, that freeway space is only about a millimeter or less. If you're a TMD patient, some of them don't have a freeway space. They clench their teeth all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what the Oralift does is, as soon as you put it in, the muscles have to adapt. So after 10 minutes of the initial wearing of the Oralift, you take it out and you'll find your freeway spaces increase. That's because your muscles have adapted so quickly. And that's one of the things that really surprised me, was how quickly that freeway space changes.
And it does, like I noticed, so I'm on my 4-month rest period. So I know we use it 4 months on, and when you first initially get it, then 4 months off. And I'm so aware of my freeway space.
Exactly, exactly. This is what I've been trying to teach dentists to concentrate on. But they think that the freeway space is sort of in a way predetermined. And if you read textbooks, they'll say the freeway space is usually between 1 to 3 millimeters or 1 to 5 millimeters at the most. But the fact that you can change it by using this adaptive process is what I was trying to teach dentists, you know?
Yeah, so cool. So how would this be different from, like, let's say a microcurrent device that is going to lift and tone, like work those muscles in the face?
Right.
How would it, for anti-aging, you know what I mean? How would that be different than
Electrical
this?
stimulation is stimulating the muscles and then creating all the chemistry that is changing. But the electrical stimulation is only being applied to the muscles that you're applying the device to. Whereas the process of adaptation, the whole body has to adapt. So that's the difference. One is quite local. It's like exercise. Exercise is also just exercising the muscles that you work on. You know, if you do that, or if you use a facial flex, it exercises certain muscles, but not the whole body. The process of adaptation involves the whole body.
Yeah, the whole body. And I, when I looked at the interview from that you did with Claudia, there was something that you said too about, I thought this was fascinating because, like you said, it's working the whole body. It's even like at a cellular level, and the bones eventually might even move or change back to, like, eventually over time, or I don't have the correct medical terminology.
Well, basically, yes. What we're doing is we're changing the biological age of the person.
Yes.
And by changing the biological age, yes, bones will also change. Every aspect of the human body will change. We have to prove, in my mind, that the biological aging is being affected. Study that is a big task. You know, doing research is my prime interest, but it costs a lot of money. And as an individual, I'm finding very, very, very difficult to do, you know. But hopefully one day Oralift is going to be so successful that I'll be able to spend as much time and money on research as possible.
Yeah. And I see it becoming that. I feel like this is that device that everyone should have. Like, it's
Yes,
just like like brushing your teeth.
that's right. When we age, we are more prone to age-related diseases. If we are changing the biological age, that means those age-related diseases will be less likely to happen. But not only that, when we do get ill, I feel using this appliance will help to fight whatever disease we're fighting a little bit better, because our body is going to adapt and say, look, I've got a disease that's affecting my this. I've got to improve my body, and in that way, we'll fight the disease better. So a day will come when anyone going into hospital, before they do anything, they'll be said, okay, start using the Oralift. Let's see how well we can get you before we start giving you medicines.
Yeah.
And I think that day will come. I hope that day will be in my lifetime, but if not, I'm sure in the future, one day will come when that will happen.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. What age do you think it's important to get started with this device? When you're seeing signs of aging, or should you start at like when collagen starts to break down in your 30s?
You can start as young. Prevention is something that should be started very early. You don't wait for things to go downhill and then start saying, oh, it should be preventive. And this is preventive. And therefore, you should start as early as possible. In the 20s, I mean, when I first started using, I got my nurse to use it and her friend, and they were in their 20s, and they got fantastic results.
I'm so excited about this. Okay, let's go ahead and look at my results, okay? Yeah. And talk about them. I have been using radio frequency for over a year, and I am a microcurrent user and an EMS user. So that has already been in place, and I'm in maintenance phase. So I just want to let you guys know that when you look at these results. So in this photo, this is where I notice my skin looks fuller, like.
Wow. The cheeks look much.
I didn't know how to say it. Yeah, it's almost kind of like that structure of the face is changing for the better.
That's right. It's getting to a more youthful face. Yeah. I'm sure if you took your pictures from 20 years ago and look at the shape of your face then and look at the shape of the face now, you'll see the similarities. And then
I do notice my lips, especially the top lip, seems to be a little bit more defined and just a tad bit fuller. I noticed that. And that's probably, it's interesting because when I started using this device, for some reason I was noticing, before looking at pictures, I was noticing my lips right away, which I thought was interesting. Like I could feel it in the lip area.
Yes, that's right, because the lips are, when you have the Oralift appliance, you have to sort of make an effort with the lips. So the lips are not only having to adapt, but you're in a way doing a little bit of exercise with your lips as well. So the two things are combining together.
That makes sense. All right. So
another thing, of course, that I notice nowadays, because I'm much more into biological age, and one of the things that happens to our eyes is the corners of the eyes start to droop when we age. And if you look at the corners of your eyes and how they've lifted up, and that is reversal of biological age can be measured by a number of ways.
This is what you're talking about?
That is right. That is right.
So if in the first picture, if I'm kind of looking down, would that make a difference?
Not really. To some degree, it will. But the corners of the eyes lifting up is something we're noticing happening in all the time.
I see. That's super cool.
And that is, as I said, biological age can be measured by a number of ways: blood tests, physical tests, mental tests. But now they do it through saliva as well. But there's a Chinese professor, and I was talking to Claudia about this as well, that has written a paper that the facial features give us a more accurate idea of the biological age of a person. And the facial features that he looked at was the corners of the eyes, the width of the nose, width of the lips.
This is the black and white. And I like that you do the black and white because you're getting rid of the lighting and all of that.
Yeah, I found the black and white pictures allow you to focus more on the things that you would really want to look at, you know, rather than being distracted and saying, oh, the makeup's different, or this is different, or this is different, you know. Now, in this case, you can see how the shape of the face has changed and the cheeks have really lifted up. The corners of the mouth have lifted up as well, just like the corners of the eyes.
Wow. Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting. Why is this darker, do you think?
Why is it darker there? Now, that could be a sign of overuse.
Overuse is kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But this was like a month ago. These pictures were taken. So
I looked at your 6 months pictures, you know, the ones in the rest period, and they, I think, are looking even better.
yeah.
Theory behind Auralift is that it causes microtrauma in the muscles. The healing process is started. The healing process, once initiated, can carry on for up to 10 months afterwards. So even in the rest period, you will find things keep on improving.
Yeah, that's what and I'll be honest, I was like really nervous to stop this because I was just like, no, I don't know if I want to take 4 months break. I'm liking the results so much. I think that that's important, is that healing process as well. And I am noticing it continues. And
Yeah.
I'm really aware of that Freeway space too.
I say to my very long-term people, I mean, the longest one is, I think on our website, is the one who's been wearing it for 16 years.
Yes.
And you see, when she first started, she had a jaw that used to protrude out a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And now she's got a very oval, nice face, and the profile, the jaw doesn't protrude at all. And that's without surgery.
I know.
Normally,
I think it's
to have that done, you know, you go to a maxillofacial surgeon and you say, oh yeah, we'll have to do some surgery, resect the lower jaw or bring the upper maxilla forward to give you the right profile. Whereas in her case, it's her own body that's done it.
All right. I think for me, the biggest change is the neck.
Yes, yes.
I cannot even, I honestly, when I had to take my before picture of my neck and I looked at it, I was like, whoa, because I obviously don't look at the side of my face all the time. I was like, oh, okay, that's happening. And then I was blown away. And there's no other device on the market that you can use at the time here.
That's
especially
right.
that turkey neck right here. And I'm
That's amazing. Reversal of the aging process, Jodylynn. I'll tell you one thing. When I first started using this device, you know, and starting looking at the results, I used to think that because the posture is improving, and if you do this, if you take your head forward, you'll find your neck muscles look worse. And I used to think, because the posture is improving, this neck is going to look worse in some people, you know. I've been amazed that is not the case. And yours is a classical thing, showing really that this is a truly anti-aging device. Even the neck muscles are tightening up to a more youthful form. Yes.
It's amazing to me. And that was another reason when I saw these that I was like, I don't want to stop using this. It's amazing.
Right. The important thing is to monitor your pictures regularly, you know, and if you're under stress or something's happening that is causing things to worsen, we can use it a little bit more then. But remember the process of adaptation, and I found this quite true. The first time a person uses this appliance, they get the best results. After that, it is more of a maintenance and slight improvement. Mm-hmm. So you won't get this sort of result when you wear it after the 4 months rest.
Right.
you will get improvements because you've started the whole process again.
Right.
But I think the body, I'm not sure exactly why that is, but that seems to be the case.
So that first 4 months is like the time,
The
4 to
first
6 months,
6 months, yeah, 4 to 6 months. That's, yeah, is the
major changes. And then
yeah,
the other changes are going to be subtle
I
throughout.
think so. But
Yeah.
I'm waiting to be surprised because I saw one patient I remember, and she was progressing slowly, and then suddenly between 2 and 2.5 years, there was a dramatic change, and I
Amazing.
couldn't work out why that had happened, you know?
And I think what's important is that also, and I always say this, like, you got to be patient, you got to be consistent, you got to use the device and be patient
That's
with what is happening. I mean, especially with how this device is working, on the cellular level, and just, make sure you're allowing that time for everything to
I
happen.
think it's a lifestyle change, and a
Yeah.
lifestyle change is never easy. You've got to stick to it. But
Yeah.
again, the people who haven't been able to use the device regularly, everything is not lost. Our body is very forgiving, and it will just pick up from where
Yeah.
you left off and carry on.
Because of that muscle memory and adaptation. Another question I have, I'm assuming because everybody's facial, every structures are different, that different results are going to be different for different people, kind of.
Yeah. That is true. As I said, a person who's got a square jaw because they clench and grind a lot, their shape will start to become oval. A person whose jaw is retruded, it'll come forward. A person whose jaw is protruding will go backward. So yeah,
Yeah, it just
everyone's
depends.
result is going to be slightly different.
Yeah, okay. Now we talked about teeth grinding, and I don't grind my teeth, but I know that there are, many that do, and this can also help with that, correct?
Definitely, definitely. That was my initial aim when I was treating TMD patients. One of the factors that plays a big part in the TMD patients is clenching and grinding. And therefore, to reduce that was one of my main aims. And yes, it is helping a lot of people with
That's so amazing.
Mewing is a form of exercise because they're teaching you how to place your tongue and then swallow in a certain way. So it's like a form of exercise that you're not used to. And with any exercise, the important thing is to not keep on repeating the exercise, because repeating the exercise causes overuse. And overuse with the swallowing technique will cause hollow cheeks. Now, hollow cheeks might look good on a young person, but as we get older, you do not want to have hollow cheeks and look more skeletal.
Yeah.
So as far as facial exercises are concerned, the person that I've talked to, an Australian, and she's called Peter, and she does face aerobics.
Okay, yeah.
YouTube channel is face aerobics, and I've talked to her, and she's quite knowledgeable about facial exercises, and she says the same thing. Do not do not repeat the same exercise over and over again. Change your routine, and she's got programs to show you how to change your exercise programs and get the best results. And I'm really, really impressed with her knowledge.
Yeah, okay, great. And then when we're talking about the Auralift, because you start out with the 3 millimeter, and then you change and go to the 5 millimeter, and then you're changing the duration, right? And so it's not, that's what I'm kind of tying it back to the don't do the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, my thinking behind the 3 and the 5 was that if you're a very relaxed person, you'll find that the 3 millimeter appliance doesn't feel as if it's doing very much in the mouth. And I think you felt that too earlier on.
I was like, maybe I should go to the 5.
Yes, that's right. And but because we have to make the program suit everyone, whether you've got relaxed muscles or tense muscles, So we developed that you start with a 3 and then gradually progress on to the 5. Because the process of adaptation is not the same as exercise, I don't think using it too much, as long as you don't get signs of overuse, is going to be harmful.
Got it. Okay, I understand what you're saying now, because it's a different process. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly,
It's not an
exactly.
exercise, but an adaptation. Okay, that makes sense. And I looked
Yeah.
into the mewing techniques. I didn't know what it was. And you're supposed to hold your tongue in a certain position and like for anyway.
That's
But
right.
it seemed this device would be a lot easier to adapt to, because you're just putting it in your mouth and you're not constantly focusing on this tongue thing. And if it's in the proper placement and holding it there, and I don't know, I was like, this is so much easier to just put in your mouth. You know what you're doing, done.
I think the most difficult thing about this is that people overthink and they get more tense about it. And that's the last thing this is supposed to be doing.
Right.
It's supposed to let you relax.
Yes. Okay.
You know? And
Yes.
the more tense you get worked up about it, oh, am I doing it right? Have I got the right one?
Yes. And I don't. So that's
I
really.
think this is why I think people who do meditation and things like that, they know how to relax their muscles. And in a way, that would be very complementary with what Oralift does, you know?
Yeah. And I've had people ask me, they're like, well, what should I do with it? Like, it could be long, like if you get up to that hour. And like, I meditate, I've exercised with this, I go for a walk with this if I'm taking the dog, like anything that is just passive, you know, watching a TV show. I mean, to me, it's just very simple, put it in, you know, and yeah.
The only thing I'd be cautious about with this appliance is, you know, if you're doing vigorous exercise.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because this is creating an increased blood flow to the facial head and neck. Doing vigorous exercise, I'm not sure.
Okay. Yoga?
You would be fine. Yep. Yeah. That would be
Good
ideal.
to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that is all of the questions that I have for you.
Lovely. Thanks a lot. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I love this device. It's absolutely amazing. I know I've said that a lot, but I can't even tell you.
I know I've already said it probably a gazillion times in this video, but this is truly going to be something that is always in my routine forever. It is a lifestyle change for me. I love this device. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, please go ahead and give it a like. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you do not miss my upcoming videos. Until next time.